What's up, everybody? It's Herschel from High School Top 200, and this is just another segment for the top 5 open sides in the country right now. If you are watching, if this is the first one that you've watched, I've also done the props, hookers, locks, and also blindside. So go back onto my YouTube channel and have a watch. Also like, subscribe, share, comment, tell everybody you know, kind of thing, that about this page, and also about the website highschooltop200.com or hs.top200.com, and just get people to be more informed and up to date with First 15 rugby, and you know, what's going on and what talents we have here. Obviously with the top 5 open sides, especially in New Zealand, where we've had some big time number 7s, and we've kind of got another one in Dalton Papali'i, who is also part of the top 200 as well. There's just a lot that comes with it. You know, there's just a lot that comes over with Richie McCaw, Michael Jones, Josh Cornfeld, you know, guys like that. Even Marty Holler, who obviously being a Chiefs guy, he was just behind the wrong guy. I think that's just kind of what it was. Whoever was going to go up against Richie McCaw was, in terms of trying to get game time, was always kind of running behind him. And so big shout out to Marty Holler, and you know, a Chiefs guy, but that number 7 carries a lot of I guess a lot with it when you sort of run on the field. And that's kind of the way that I see it too, is that every number 7 that I see on the field is kind of held to a standard of what we see as good number 7s in the country. A lot of the time we build our defenses kind of around our open sides and what they can do. But so to get this one started, these are my top 5 open sides in New Zealand. Cooper Flanders from Hastings Boys is my number 1. From Hastings Boys, Sam Morgan from St. Pat's Silverstream is my number 2. Tino Savia is from Lindisfarne College is my 3rd one. My 4th one is Senta Lawaki from Kelston Boys High School, and then my 5th one is Ronan Dines from Otago Boys High School. Those are my top 5 open sides. I know that some of you guys are thinking, well, you know, especially Cooper and Senta are both number 8s, but to me, I think they only play number 8 because of, you know, the needs of the school. And I think if they were put in another team and sort of you know, put into the position that really does get the most out of their players, I think they'll both be number 7s. The same with like Tino Savia as well. Cooper Flanders, obviously, I've been following him since he was under 15s. You know, still highly ranked when he was year 11 as well. One of those guys that is just such a smart player and really puts everything into the game. Because of his background, like when I first saw him at under 15s, he was playing first 5 and second 5. And so when he moved into number 8 into number 8 at year 11, he still kind of brought those talents with him and those traits with him, and you can see him use it, especially in his passing game. You can see him using it when they're on the run, and you've seen him use it even his kicking game. You've seen him use it a few times this year too. If you've watched Hastings play, is that he'll kick you out of trouble as well. He's just one of those kind of guys that just does everything, and he's kept himself obviously up to date, and he's kept his skills pretty sharp from when he was a first 5, second 5, and so it's cool to see him adapt and then sort of just add other stuff to make him, you know, the best number 7 in the country right now. I don't know if New Zealand Secondary Schools is going to, I guess, portray him or use him the same way that I'm explaining right now, because obviously that's up to them, and I don't know who's selecting for the open sides or for the loose forwards for New Zealand Secondary Schools, but for me, myself, I think Cooper Flanders is the one that you should go with it as your open side in the country. Sam Morgan is next. Sam Morgan to me was he wasn't really highly ranked when I coming into this year. Maybe a little bit hidden last year in terms because they had like Peter Lakai there last year within their loose forward trio, and he was kind of a go-to guy. He was kind of the guy that was looked at all the time. But this year, Sam really showed out, especially with his speed. Like, he's such a fast player. Even when you watch him break the line and just that extra speed past the line, his open field speed is pretty good. Like, it's right up there with, and I've seen him burn off wingers and fullbacks and stuff like that, which is kind of it's cool to see, especially if you're a forward. It's great to see. But he doesn't just have normal speed. He's got the extra stuff. He's got the extra stuff. And so he does all the stuff that you need as well, and the core roles as an open side in terms of defense and tackling and all that kind of stuff. But his speed does bring a little bit extra to him as a player and who he is as well. I think even with, in terms of using him, I think I would use him just purely as a tackling machine, as well as a maybe out on the edge kind of runner. Maybe I'll run him between the midfielders on second five and centre, and see if he can create some kind of mismatch out there, or even a decoy. Usually people don't think that he can run and he can bust a line, but if I was to use him in an attack, I'd probably use him out there somewhere, and then and hope that he breaks sort of weak tackles of midfielders, and then just create something from there. Tackling's all good, like that's not really a worry at all. He does that just the same as anybody else. But yeah, he would be my second pick at open side of in my top 5. The third one is Tino Savia, who's pretty much a number 8, but has played both number 8 and open side this year for Lindisfarne College. A lot of the gameplay that they based it around his running game and the way that he attacked the line, and he is a big time runner. When I saw him first at year 11, obviously he was just a big kid. He was a big kid that was bigger than everybody else, and he'll just smash himself into the line. No real kind of technique to it, no real kind of game plan and what he was going to do. He just did what came naturally, and that was just crash ball. Year 12, he learned a little bit more and found out what he was, or who he could be, and then his jump into year 13 actually was probably one of the biggest changes I've seen in a player from one year to the next. His change from year 12 to year 13 was so impressive, because it started to look like he knew what he was doing. It started to look like he knew how to manipulate defenses and to run on his angles, to get rid of players and things like that. And just because he's so fast and strong, just adds to it with someone like with Tino. And so it was cool to see him that way. It was cool to see him the way that he played. And if it was up to me, I would put him at open side, even going into club rugby as well, and start trimming him down, make it a bit more faster, because his power and speed is something that should be used a lot. And even as a running guy and a crash ball guy, I would use that once you get the turnovers and you start turning that defense into attack, and then just give him the ball and he'll be out there. He did that quite a lot this year, and it was pretty cool to see, because you knew that he was going to be able to cause trouble a lot in that CNI competition, and it really did work for Lindisfarne. And so he would be my third one. Close behind him was Centre Lawaki from Christchurch, from Gizmo Boys, and Centre's like such a smart player. Like in terms of rugby IQ and game IQ, him and Cooper in this bunch is, to me, the smartest guys in this bunch. Really good at lineouts. Him and Cooper are really good at lineouts. I would use, even Ronan is the same. Ronan's a really good lineout jumper as well. So those three, to me, are really good options for that. Obviously, they wouldn't be front jumpers because at rep level rugby, you've got locks that can do that kind of stuff that are a lot better. And so they will be better down the back, or maybe in a 4-man line out, something like that, to be disguised as lifters and jumpers, all that, all that stuff that goes along with it. But Center's such a smart guy, such a smart player, really fast and quick, and really just a lot of security around the field in terms of rucks, making sure that ball is secure and all that kind of stuff. He was great in sevens too. Him and Cooper played in sevens for New Zealand Condors, and you could just see how good both of them were, and how good both of them, I guess, demanded attention for the game, and just demanded that extra from them, because they were making tackles. Like Center's as tall and lanky kind of a bit, and it's a great frame for him getting into his senior rugby years. And once he gets his man body going on and starts really lifting weights in the gym, he's gonna be a really, really good player to watch out for. And I don't know who, he'd probably go to Waitemata or someone like that, but he would be such a good frame to chase after. And yeah, I don't know, I kind of think that he'll be one of those guys that New Zealand Sevens would probably look out for. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, because just the speed and the defense, his smarts, come into it too, and really big motor and real fit as well. And so there's a lot of options that guy can take. There's a lot of options for him, and I'm really keen to see what he can do. And I think that he truly is one of the best open sides that we have this year, even though he has to probably convert from number 8. Well, I don't think there's that much of a conversion for someone like him. So, they're smart guys that just know what to do and just know how to do it. I think he's just right there with it. Ronan Dines is the last one. Otago Boys High School. Like I said before, really good at lineouts. Really puts himself out there in terms of as a front jumper. Strong in the air as well. His speed and his upper body, he's got a really big upper body, really wide shoulders. Really good frame getting over the ball, stealing the ball, like things like that. Like, he's just one of those guys you kind of have to stop him before he gets to the ball or before he goes down over it, and just to make sure that your security is tight. Like, you just don't want his hands on the ball. That's kind of what I'm getting to, is that you just don't want him around him. It's just too unsafe when someone like him is in the game, and he could just easily take the ball away from you. He's got quite a bit of speed. I haven't really seen him break out into the open, but just from ruck to ruck, he's perfectly fine. Comes off quick off the side of the scrums too, which is great when you get a guy that can break off so fast and get into the back line straight away and sort of disrupt stuff. And that's kind of what you want from your open sides, especially guys like him. But he's one of those guys that I think is gonna is probably gonna go a long way with what he can do right now, and just judging from what he can do at first 15 level and just seeing the growth of him, I think he's just kind of a guy that you should just pay attention to and see where he goes to, and where he picks to go. The other thing will be important was where he picks to go. I know that being from Otago, you kind of want to stay in that Highlanders catch right there, but at the same time, just from rugby talk and rugby decisions, he might want to have a look out elsewhere, because his talent is a little bit special, I think, and is a bit different from what you'd get from most. And I know a lot of probably unions that would want to take someone that sort of plays the way that he plays. Obviously, after I've named my top 5, I look into players that I had sort of right on the edge of it, and there were quite a bunch of guys that I looked at too. Fletcher Joyce was one of them from Timaru Boys. He was obviously one of the main reasons why they were so good this year, Timaru Boys, and the way that they led with defense. There wasn't a lot of points scored on Timaru Boys, and he was one of those. He was probably the biggest reason why. And Fletcher was such a good player, even in some of those muddy games, and the way that I guess he led from the front. He's just one of those Southern boys, and so He was one of them that was on that short list. Aaron Woodley was another one from Southland Boys High School. Another guy that was quick around the field, does all dirty work, all that kind of stuff. Jay Davis from King's High School, who played most of the time at blindside, where I rather him at open side. He would be one of my picks, one of the picks that I kind of left out. It would be interesting to see what he turns out like next year. And obviously, these are just my opinions in terms of where I would play them. He may stay as a blindside, but I would personally put him at open side. Jaunty Short was another one that I really liked from St. Peter's School here in Cambridge, and I thought that he was one of the best guys around the rucks. Like he was so good just getting in and over the ball. Played blindside a little bit as well, but I preferred him as an open side, and I would play him as an open side. Jackson Meacham was another one who from Christchurch Boys, who moved down from Mags, went to Christchurch Boys for a year, and just his physical attributes too, just a long, rangy kind of guy, real fast and fit, smart guy, and I personally would have had him at open side, and just the way that he started playing towards the end. It was kind of sad that it just came on towards the end, because I think Christchurch was starting to pick things up and starting to really get into that rebuild, and it started working, and so it was kind of, yeah, they just picked it up a little bit later than they should have. But Jackson was one of those guys that I really watched out for, and hoped that he would start to dominate, and especially going to a new team, a new system. There's a big, massive difference from going from Mags to Christchurch Boys, not in terms of talent or anything like that, but in terms of how you play or what you play as a team. Big, bunch of big island boys and one who are all explosive and aggressive and that kind of stuff, where a lot more structure comes from Christchurch Boys, with not a lot of brown boys in there, but just a lot of they rely a lot of execution and making sure that things are all timing, and things are all precise, and the execution it becomes right. And so taking a player from one extreme to the next is, it takes a lot just to get used to. So Jackson was kind of one of those guys that was stuck in those sort of in that pool of what do you kind of do. The year 12s from this year that everyone should kind of keep an eye out for is, first one is Brooke Mitchell, who's the captain of Rotorua Boys. He's actually a young year 12, which means that he is a year behind, and he actually should be year 11 this year. And so Brooke is one of the guys to watch out for, absolutely watch out for, and just the way that he plays. He's just a pure open side, and he's got a lot of upside to what he's going to be as a player, and very mature for his age and the way that he plays. And so Brooke is going to be one of those to watch out for. Ben Phelps from Gizmo Boys, sort of a fast lanky kind of guy, and once he really develops, and I think if you look at him towards under 20s a bit more, once he turns 19, looks at under 20s, he's going to be a pretty impressive player to watch. Ricky Rubin is from Mags, who's their captain as well. Does a little bit at blindside, but I think he might be more of an open side just with his speed and fitness. I like him at that. Jarius Josefa from King's College is another one. Tana Lokini is from Scots College, is another guy that you probably want to watch out for. Him and Aiden Christians are both of those two really got through a lot of work this year, and it was cool to watch those two play and develop as players. And so those kind of guys are probably two fellas that you want to watch next year. But Jack Coulthard is, I think that's how you say his name, from St. Thomas, who was the captain this year at St. Thomas. He's probably the most dangerous guy that you probably want to watch out for next year. And if he has a great off-season, and if he comes back really fit, fast, ready to go, obviously healthy and injury-free kind of thing, he's probably the guy that's gonna have a massive upside next year if he comes back ready to roll. And Jack Coulthard is such a special player, and it's great what he did with St. Thomas this year as their captain, and proved a lot of people wrong. Even myself proved me wrong a lot in terms of what they actually were as a team. Obviously I didn't really pick it up, ranking them pretty low within the top 50, and then making it all the way up into the top 20. They were just such a beast of a team, and hopefully they can continue it next year too with him as their captain. That is my top five open sides. Make sure you check out all the others if you haven't seen the others, and other top 5 rankings. I'm saying not the others like it's a movie. Well, there's a movie, but I'm not talking about that. But that's me, Herschel from High School Top 200. Peace.